Hello, everyone. This is Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Welcome to the Beyond Bitcoin show. Today is October the 6th, 2018. Strong hand, unconfiscatable. Bitcoin is the next Bitcoin. Personal responsibility is the new counterculture. Deferral of gratification, conviction. All right, check out the links below. DisruptMeister.com, all my old shows. We'll get into that in a second. Get your Trezor and charts linked to below. Affiliate links are below. Okay. So, Bitcoin, yeah, we're going beyond Bitcoin. Without Bitcoin, you do have the legal right to free speech, don't you? Mm-hmm. Do you have the practical right, though? I mean, can you afford to speak the truth? This is the world we live in today. I mean, a lot of people are like, yeah, we have free speech in the United States. We can say whatever we want to. But you've got to have a certain amount of wealth or a certain amount of stability, practically speaking, if you want to have true free speech. If you want to say something that's against what the politically correct mob has to say, you put it out there, you can lose your job, you can get sued for your house, you can be ostracized by your so-called friends, and you could be you can get divorced by your wife. She can take your kids away. Now, imagine if you have Bitcoin, though. You say what you want to say. They can't take that away. You still have all your wealth. You're working for yourself. Yeah, maybe you are working for someone else. You get fired. You have your Bitcoin. So I think in this day and age where we really try to define what freedom is, and those who understand what freedom is really value freedom, you want to get yourself into a situation where you have freedom of speech, practically speaking, where you can say anything and you're not going to get hurt in any way. You're going to be able to live your life like you were beforehand. That's true freedom. That's true freedom of speech. Get into the Bitcoin overlay. And yes, practically, I do have that right. Yes, I do. I have the freedom of speech that I say I go where I want to go. No, I don't work for anyone. We know the whole drill here at this channel. And I got the Bitcoin that can't be taken away from me. Now, today, mere accusations alone, they are now enough to ruin someone's career. So on the other side of the spectrum, you can have people saying all sorts of nonsense about you. If they don't like, well, maybe you said something they didn't like. Now they can just make up lies and lies, but they have nothing to lose because they have nothing. They're just part of the machine. And they know that even if the accusations about you are totally false, that they can ruin you. They can ruin you. So again, if you're in that position where you know eventually people are going to throw false accusations at you because you are a productive person, because you're successful. I mean, you're a target if you have money now. You get that Bitcoin as insurance there. Then they can't. They can, again, they're going to, mere accusations, they might destroy you in certain people's eyes, but you'll have enough to fight back. You can fight. You know, sometimes when people get accused, they shut up now because they don't want the situation to get worse and worse and get sued and lose their family. Again, if you didn't have to worry about that, if you had your Bitcoin, or if you, and again, maybe you're a multi-hundred millionaire or something like that too. Okay, they don't need Bitcoin, I guess. Yeah, but again, no, maybe they do. I mean, they all play a role in this game too. If you are in the upper echelon of society and you've gotten there, you know, you've got you might have the FU money, but it might all revolve around you fitting in. And if you no longer fit in, I mean, again, Harvey Weinstein or Stein or whatever his darn name is. He's very, very wealthy dude. He was in with the clique, and once he got, once the rules were changed a little on him, and he did something against the clique. What was cool, he was out on his butt. He didn't have any Bitcoin. Again, I don't know what he did or what he didn't do, but imagine if he had Bitcoin. Yeah, he could just leave the country, go to another place, just live his life. Now, I mean, he's lost it all, perhaps. Who knows? Anyway, so yeah, mere accusations alone are now enough to ruin someone. And again, I'm not saying that dude's innocent or anything like that. And I care less about him. Tell you, he was, among the Hollywood. I mean, he's a freak. The dude's but he was a successful man. You cannot deny that. Pound that like button. Follow me at TechBalt, TechBalt on Twitter. So yeah, it is open season on wealthy, productive men. You can't deny it. It is open season, baby. And you might be innocent of everything, but you are a target now. So think long and hard about how you position yourself. Plan ahead, long-term thinking. How are you going to handle it, successful man, once the false accusations come? Because again, people are incentivized to do these false accusations. I mean, they become famous. They get book deals by lying about you. So the way you fight back is with Bitcoin. When you have that FU money, and they attack you, and they didn't know you had the Bitcoin, and then you start pounding at them. You call them every name in the book, because again, in the situation, if you don't have something backing you up like Bitcoin, you just fall silent to these predators that want your wealth, because you're just like trying to preserve every aspect of your wealth as it slowly goes down the toilet. You don't realize that it's all going to go away. You're trying to, like, oh, I'll just be a good little boy and I won't say anything. What you really got to do is fight back. Now, some people will fight back, but then they'll lose everything because they don't have anything backing them up. The Bitcoin, you won't. You could fight back, and if they keep on attacking, you just leave the country, start anew, do something else, buy a new wife in another country or something. I don't know. But you see where I'm coming from on this. It's a sad situation that productive people are targets. That the society, the 80% dominated society wants to put the unproductive on pedestals and make all the productive into villains. But hey, personal responsibility is new counterculture. If you're productive, plan ahead and you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Make sure you watch This Week in Bitcoin. That was on Friday. We had a really good time on the show. Check it out. Abraham came from South Africa. And yeah, we're talking about all sorts of interesting things. And I'll also check out disruptmeister.com for all my old shows. Of course, I do a new show here every single day. And the Beyond Bitcoin show is only on Saturday nights. And yeah, it'll only be on well, as long as we do the Beyond Bitcoin. All my shows on this channel will only be that are on Saturdays. They'll only be on Saturday nights for now. They've been on Saturday nights for quite some time, but that's going to be the rule now. I will not do any shows if all goes well on a Saturday ever again. But on a Saturday night, that's fine. So, and I think everyone knows why. What was I saying with Bitcoin? Oh yeah. Okay, so we talked about open season. The working world is full of people who'd rather see their workplace burn down than rehire someone they have a personal dislike of. So yeah, even in the private sector, because of various reasons, inefficient people are hired, and then they hold grudges against efficient people who might leave, or they might try to fire the efficient people. Like, it's amazing. Bureaucracy within some of these big corporations has half these people shouldn't even work there. Maybe not half, but they aren't helping the cause of the company. They're not being productive at all. In fact, they're being unproductive. And there's so much emotion and anger in some people and spite that, they're not about personal responsibility. They would rather, take out someone who's productive, then I mean, it's ridiculous. They wouldn't want that person to be there. They'd rather the whole place go out of business. They'd rather the whole place go out of business than have this productive people be at their business. And getting rid of the productive person in the long run hurts them, because it makes their business less productive that they're working at, and they're not going to get the raise. They'll probably be fired eventually also. So yeah, so middle management. This is why you don't want to work at these corporations that even have the middle management. Middle management politics, complete nonsense. But we are living in this society today where, again, people have forgotten the goals of productivity. They just want appearance. They just want emotion. Like, oh, I can't stand this person. I'd rather them just not be around. You know, instead of solving the situation like grown-ups and keeping around the most productive staff possible. And again, this is true of the world. But again, hey, in Bitcoin, this is where the big boys play. So we don't have to deal with middle management here and inter-office politics. If those people want to buy Bitcoin, they can. They probably won't. But it would help. It would, again, you can have your enemies in Bitcoin, and it only helps you. You know, there's no censoring in Bitcoin. So pound that like button. Has MGTOW been proven right? This is a video by Economic Invincibility. I linked to it below. It is a good video. He makes some interesting points that the men going their own way movement in recent, you know, is what I'm talking about. That men are being targeted. The productive men are being targeted, and if you can avoid valuing your wealth in women, you're less likely to be able to lose your wealth. Okay, and I think that's what MGTOW, something that MGTOW is all about, is like, don't value your wealth in women. You know, try to make yourself better. Don't go out of your way to try to get a great so-called great woman. But in the end of the day, she might false accusations might come. She might just be a player all along. You might think you're the big player. You're the big player. You can get all these women. When in fact, she's the big player. She's just waiting for you, the guy who thinks you're the big player, to latch on to you. And then eventually she gets everything that you have, all your value, and then something even much more meaningful than your value, your kids. So again, you're a target. And so he makes a video here. Has MGTOW been proven right? Hey, and Adam, I'm not saying all women are horrible. I'm not saying that. I'm saying to value your wealth in Bitcoin. Do not value your wealth in women. It can get into a lot of trouble if you get it for whatever reason. You know you've got the woman, the great woman. You met her for whatever, you know. You weren't going out of your way to get her. Hey, it's great. You live a good life. Do what you want to do. You know, again, I still have a stash of Bitcoin on the side. You don't have to tell her everything. You can still have a lot. Again, that's insurance against divorce. You always, even with the best one in the world, so you think. And again, if you're some 25-year-old guy, let me tell you something straight up, dude. Let me tell you something, 25. You don't know anything yet. You don't know it. Your little head is still making a lot of your decisions for you. And if you can realize that when you're 25, I think you'll end up in a better position. Because again, I have experience. I valued my wealth in women quite a bit in my day, quite a bit. Spent a lot of time with that type of stuff. Had a lot of adventures, and it was good. I'm lucky the way it all turned out. I really am lucky. I could have gotten into a lot of financial trouble. Who knows what else could have happened to me? And we won't go into all the stories now and everything like that. So I will say one thing here in the middle of this show, and I wonder if the guys out there agree with me on this. I think when a man reaches the age of 27, that is when he is at his physical freaking peak, man. Because you're still kind of like a child. You know, you're still, you can do anything. You can drink like a freaking banshee. You can, still, a lot of things. And again, it varies from guy to guy. And you're good. And at that point, you've got that age thing. You're older than all the college guys, so you can beat them all out for the women and stuff. And again, you shouldn't be valuing your wealth in women. But yeah, that's an interesting question. I've always said, 27 is the height of a man's Now, again, that's not the height of a man can keep going and going and going using his head. You know, you're not at your smartest when you're 27. You have no wisdom when you're 27 yet. Trust me on that. Trust me on that. Hey, mentioned MGTOW just sent $5. Speaking about MGTOWs, Bitcoins, isn't there a new world order plot to lure us all onto a cashless society? Vention, thank you for the $5 and thank you for that comment. Now let's go over what he said there. Isn't that a Bitcoin? Isn't that a new world order plot to lure us all onto a cashless society? Now some of you are probably laughing at that. When Vention MGTOW goes out of his way on his videos, which are MGTOW videos, to talk about Bitcoin in a very calm and rational manner, there are all sorts of men who are definitely over 40 years old, who should definitely have wisdom by the time they're in their 40s. Okay, they leave comments like that every darn time he talks about it. Every time. And these are supposedly guys who've gone their own way, and they're talking this nonsense again. And so Vention doesn't believe that. Obviously, he has plenty of Bitcoin. He values his wealth in Bitcoin, but it's just unbelievable. Like, I love to watch Vention's videos when he talks about Bitcoin, and then when I read his comment section, I want to vomit. I seriously want, and it's not his fault. It's not. He's trying to do a good deed. He's trying to do a good thing. There are these men. And you know they're over 40. They might be over 50, some of them, okay? And they should have wisdom, and they're saying new world order plot, okay, about Bitcoin. New world order. They want to live in their doom world. They want to I don't understand. They're not in motion. So be in motion, people, and value your wealth in Bitcoin. Thank you, Vention MGTOW, for that contribution and for that awesome line, because that is an awesome line in the sense that it's unbelievable that so many men, it's not women that are saying that, it's men that are saying that got these wild imaginations and maybe just fear success. I don't know. But yeah, so many people want to have a human resource department for life. You know, a department that is not needed, but it's just there to deal with all the drama and to take care of them. Human resource department for life. That's what the 80%ers want. There shouldn't be a human resource department in any corporation, okay? That it's just there to deal with drama. There should be no drama in a company. It should be just people trying to be successful. Drama, people hitting on people, or no, leave that for the outside world, okay? An office is supposed to be professional. Who cares what the other person's wearing? Who cares if the other person has a better car than you? You got to be hating on the other person for personal reasons? No, it's a business. You don't need an HR department to be the referee. It's ridiculous that private business has disintegrated into this. But again, work for yourself. You don't have to worry about that. And that's another reason I encourage people to work for themselves. Here's a tweet by Jeet. And this guy's a good dude, man. I'm using his tweets a lot lately on my other shows. He says China's Belt and Road strategy is a way to end free passage by owning all the means of import and export in Africa. So I've touched on this subject before. And when you go to Africa, you see this, that the government of China has contributed a lot to the infrastructure of many companies, many countries in Africa. Okay, and people, you know, in Mozambique, they built them the airport. The airport looks pretty nice. They're building them roads in some really bad places in Africa in terms of infrastructure. Where there's no, you got to understand, when you're in Africa, sometimes it's just shocking how bad the infrastructure can be. I mean, the road just turns to nothing. So it's just as in Zimbabwe, when in Harare, when I would do my running in Harare, you could tell that these sidewalks had not been fixed since 1980, when Robert Mugabe took out. I mean, again, they look full, huge potholes in the street. When a light broke in Harare, it doesn't get fixed. That's it. It's a four-way stop sign then. But then in other parts of Zimbabwe, when you're on the highway, all of a sudden there's a brand new Chinese-built toll booth, so they can collect. Of course, they can't fix the sidewalks in the cities, but they make sure they have the best toll booths money can buy. Well, not money, but the best state-of-the-art toll booths so they can, extract money from all the Zimbabweans. The point, and I mentioned this on the show before, and that was Robert Mugabe. Maybe the new guys will change it over there. But the point is the Chinese government is not doing this for that. They're not doing it out of the goodness of their hearts. They want to be paid back. They want their loans to be paid back. They're going to get paid back in some way. Now, again, these tyrant leaders in Africa, they'll probably be dead by the time it's time to pay China back. Or they'll find a way out of it. The Chinese will just, relocate them, give them a nice palace with some guards. But again, you be careful now. And hey, who knows? When China gets paid back, they might just be given a whole African country one day. And they probably will make it very efficient, but it'll be run the same way China is, with the Chinese internet, where they know where it's just one giant control grid. But it'll probably be, infrastructurally speaking, it'll be nice. But that's just hey, because there's a lot of tweets out there, and I don't. They're like, oh, at least the Chinese aren't imperialists like the British. Chinese are so much better. Just wait. Long-term thinking, and again, those tyrant leaders in Africa, whether they be presidents or whatever title they give themselves, they're not long-term thinkers. They are not. They always take the short-term solution. I mean, they would be buying the Ripple if they were in cryptocurrency. They'd be the BitConnect. They'd be buying BitConnect, the Robert Mugabes of the world. They'd be all into, BitConnect, yeah. I'm working for BitConnect now, and they'd make a deal with BitConnect, and they'd say it's the greatest thing. And then once it crashed, they would leave town or something. All right, so yeah, the Belt and Road strategy it's a strategy. Yes, it's a way to end free passage by owning all the means of import and export in Africa. Yeah, they're trying to they're going for the big long-term payoff, which is complete control over countries. They could care less about the people there. They've got, and again, they encourage their own citizens to move to these countries. And again, I'm not saying their citizens are, and so because they're allowed to have multiple kids when they move to Africa. And it's a good living in that. Well, it's sort of a good living. You can make a good, a Chinese businessman setting up in Africa. If they're very entrepreneurial, they can do very well. They have to deal with a lot of third world issues, but whatever. So yeah, there might be, there might be a country one day in Africa where maybe like Malawi or something like that. It was just it's in a horrible situation. It's really poor there now. Maybe China will build it all up. All of a sudden, there'll be more Chinese people living there than Africans living there. Hey, that's just life. Long-term thinking, personal responsibility, and maybe the Malawi standard of living will go up. Maybe it'll be better for them. Who am I to criticize? Who am I to criticize? I don't want to be in that situation. My personal responsibility, I know to avoid that, and I'm not going to end up living in Malawi controlled by China. Okay, enough. This is the Beyond Bitcoin show, so we can talk about subjects like this. I wanted to point out that something that I realized when I saw a score it was earlier in the week. I have actually not set, I don't watch the Ravens anymore. That's the NFL team from Baltimore, which I used to watch all their games. But in 2016, right before the season started, when I was in Las Vegas, a few hours, I was like, I'm not watching this anymore. It's just become ridiculous and political and nonsense. Well, yeah. So I haven't sat down to watch any part of an NFL game since 2015. Like taking the time to sit down and say, I'm going to watch a game. No, I haven't done it. It's just great. And my life has gotten, financially speaking, and it's maybe a little bit coincidental, maybe not. Obviously, the Bitcoin has gone up in value quite a bit. That really has nothing to do with the NFL. But I mean, on paper, my net worth is incredible, a lot more than it used to be when I watched the NFL. And I'll tell you, what really counts is just my knowledge base. Instead of just sitting there like a zombie watching the Ravens for 3 hours, 16 Sundays in a row. And then like also reading about the NFL. And instead of that, I've been filling my head with just so much about Bitcoin. I mean, that is true. So all the time I spent thinking about the NFL has totally now transitioned into Bitcoin and freedom related matters like such as this show and everything. And it's definitely changed me into a better person, into a much more productive person. Now, speaking about productivity, and this is going to sound like a joke to everyone. I have started when I'm watching, because I watch a lot of videos about Bitcoin and about personal responsibility and philosophy. It's all tied in. It makes you a better person. On YouTube, you could play that at 1.25x speed, 1.5x speed, or 2x speed. I've been watching videos at 2x speeds, and I can understand it. Now, not everyone can understand it. It's not just about listening comprehension. It's just it just sounds like too cluttered for some people when it's going 2x. Now, imagine if you watch me at 2x, it sounds like I am on crack and heroin and speed, or who knows? Because already I speak kind of fast, and it's probably pretty hilarious to listen to me at 2x. So entertain but if you can understand me, yeah, then listen to me at 2x. You get it in fast. You get all the information twice as fast. So easily 1.25x, you can understand what the person is saying. For me, easily, there hasn't been one person I haven't been able to play at 1.5x and not understand them, okay? And I mean, I was able to listen to Molyneux at 2x, and he's got he's got an accent that we're not used to. And so at 2x, it gets a little blurred, but I still could understand it. So again, people, if you watch a lot of YouTube videos, productive YouTube videos, play them as go down there and play them at 2x or 1.5x. It's good. You become a much more productive person. Be in motion. There's your tip of the day. And speaking about productivity, here in Santiago, I notice a lot. There's an entrepreneurial spirit here. It seems like the government, and I could be wrong, but it seems like the government it doesn't over-regulate here. Let's say that. Okay, and so you have people on the streets just selling stuff, sitting out like at all hours of the day. They're just sitting there selling shirts, selling watches, selling whatever they somehow got their hands on. They clearly don't selling food that they're cooking. Like, I mean, I remember in LA, you see a Mexican guy pushing around a cart, and he's got a license on it, and, from the city of Los Angeles. He's obviously had to pay for this permit. Here, some dude's just pushing around a cart, and he's just cooking food. He didn't need to pay the city of Santiago for some license. It doesn't look like it, at least. Another thing, you go to this big wholesale food market. Right outside of it, you've got women, and they look like they're African immigrants, actually. There seem to be a lot of Africans here in Santiago that have come here for a better life. And, well, anyway, they're selling garlic that's already been peeled. They peeled the garlic. They clearly bought the garlic from the wholesale market, but they're allowed to sell it right outside. There's all these people selling all sorts of food right outside the wholesale market, which would never be allowed, I think, anywhere in the United States. And because they would be, you're cutting down. There's competition. We don't want competitions. We don't. Or you need to buy your products from a specific place if you want to sell them. You can't just get them from that wholesale market and sell them. There's so much bureaucracy. But here, they go right into the wholesale market, and right outside, they just start selling it. Even though you could go inside the wholesale market, buy the garlic, and then peel it yourself. But whatever. This is freedom. This is different. This is lack of, and no one's dying. No one's dying because they're buying peeled garlic. Okay, you didn't need that regulation. All right. One in 3 U.S. adults. Speaking of food, 1 in 3 U.S. adults eat fast food each day. I linked to that below if you want to check that out. 1/3 of adults eat fast food every day. It's horrible. It's horrible. I mean, that's why everybody's sick. That's why, I mean, people, it's just, I can't, there's nothing much more I can say. I just always remember, running in Baltimore, any time of day I'd run by a McDonald's, on York Road, on Reicherstown Road, again, and this is in the suburbs even. Just, there's always be a line in the drive-through. The people are so sick, they can't even get out their butts to go inside and stand to get the food. They got to sit in their cars to get this unhealthy stuff. I mean, it's pathetic. While I'm running on York Run, I would be running like 12 miles on York Road and stuff. Now, be careful. I would run too much back then, by the way. I would run. What would I run? I would run 40 miles a week. That wasn't a good idea. That you gotta be careful. You only need to run 20 miles a week. You don't get much of a, you don't get a benefit after 20 to 25 miles. It actually is, it can be bad for you. And back in my day, I would run 40 miles every week. I would run a half a marathon every other day. Pound that freaking like button. But no, that was nothing to be proud of. I could have injured myself. I wasn't gaining anything by those extra 20 miles. But I did get to see a lot of York Road and Reisterstown Road, and I ran through some of the worst I ran through the worst neighborhoods in Baltimore. Some of the worst neighborhoods in this country I had run through. Yes, and people would wave sometimes. Little kids would throw rocks other times. Yeah, that wasn't cool. But yeah, there's actually a video. I should link to it when I run the one end of North Avenue to another end of North Avenue. And for those of you who know anything about Baltimore, yeah, you'll be like, Meister, you are, you're crazy. Oh God, oh God. So here's something I got from YouTube. October Creator Monthly. What's trending? Hashtag women to watch. As part of our new initiative to showcase the incredible women who are redefining entertainment on their own terms, we welcome 22 female creators to YouTube Space London for the first ever hashtag women to watch edition of YouTube Next Up. See how this hilarious, heartfelt, and empowering event went down. I mean, so yeah, this is YouTube. As long as you know what it's about. And this is what they're sending us as content creators, okay? So you can see the direction they want us to go in. And you can see the direction that I do not go in. Because I go my own freaking way. And I don't need to go their way. I don't need to fit with their algorithm or whatever. I bring it to you guys because I like this. This is who I am. I'm not gonna, but I wanted you guys to see. You know, and again, I don't have to be, I'm happy with my relationship with YouTube. Totally have no issues at all with it. Not seriously. It's been good for me because it's in motion. It allows me to be in motion and I get to, I get some fiat out of it. I mean, I'm standing here, I'm traveling around the world every day. I get in front of my cheap laptop, I turn it on and I tell you what I think about Bitcoin and I get fiat because of it. And it's awesome. That's awesome. But I'm not going to talk about women to watch or whatever this nonsense. I'm going to tell you though what they're telling us, and that's what they're telling us. That's what they think is very interesting. So maybe that's interesting to you. Hey, but man, if you want to, I mean, there are other channels there are Bitcoin channels that just put they just put some woman on there so you can watch them. When I have a woman on my show, you know who was on my show, Caitlin Long. Now that was a woman to watch. That was incredible knowledge, Bitcoin freaking knowledge. Okay, I don't care if you're a woman, you're a man, you're black, you're white, whatever. You've seen the diversity that's come to this show on This Week in Bitcoin is based on minds. It's based on what this is about Bitcoin, about how this is a revolution. It's not about, sell it for 6,000, buy it back for 6,001, or coming up with nonsense theories about price maneuvers. No, man, this is about learning. I get smart people on this, and to have unique freaking stories that people are going to be able to learn from, and how they're going to be in motion. I only have people in motion on this channel, but because I bring you people in motion, you're going to be able to be in motion too. That's what this is about. This is not about getting bikini models on here and stuff. Again, there's plenty of YouTube channels for that, for the 80%ers. And, and then if you're empowering, if you want to just be a white knight and empower, yeah, there's plenty. YouTube wants you to do that. We don't do that here. No, that's not what we do here. That's not what I say we. It's a one-man operation, as you can probably tell. All right. So what's this? Krebs on security. This is good. This is about phishing scams. Guys, listen to this. Never give out, first of all, check out this link because there's good stories about how people got phished out of banking information. And again, I know a lot of you still have bank accounts. I mean, I still have a bank account, of course. And again, since I live in the United States, I actually have quite a good bank. And well, I'm a United States citizen, excuse me. And my bank allows me to, I can withdraw money anywhere in the world, and it comes out in the currency of that country, and I don't get charged anything. But again, that's because of long-term thinking. Also, I'm never late on payments. I'm a very responsible person. I'm not impulsive. So I don't know if everyone gets that. If you've done something that your bank doesn't like, you probably don't get that. But nevertheless, if you do have a bank account, you don't want anybody stealing all your money from your bank account from phishing. So here's the tips. Never give out information to people who called you, okay? If someone calls you and they say they're the bank and they sound really legitimate, do not give them information. Never. Only the people you have called. So if you call the bank, you can give them the information. You know you're talking to a real person there. Again, people forget this. People do. It's a very simple method. They get a call. It sounds, hey, this is Wells Fargo. Someone in Pennsylvania has just used your card and ordered $40,000 worth of furniture from IKEA. And you're like, holy, oh my God, oh. And they're like, well, if you could just, we're going to send you a replacement. What are the last 4 digits of your social security number? And then they start getting information you got to calm down. You got to think like, wait a second, I've just received a call. So this is what you do. If they say they're from your bank, you ask them how to connect with them, that you're going to hang up with them. How can you connect with them? You call the number by calling the number on the back of your card. If they can't answer, if they can't say, oh yeah, call that number on the back of your card and then enter extension 821 and then we'll be talking again. If they can't answer, you hang up and you call the number to report fraud. If they're legitimate, they'll have an extension or a similar process, and you can hang up, call the number on your card, and enter the extension. Okay, so there's your tip again. For some of you, that's probably repetitive, but it's good to get this into your head because they're getting really aggressive now. And if you read this article, you can see some smart people were tricked into giving up a lot of information, and it's not funny, man. It's not good at all. So someone calls you, immediately be suspicious. I mean, I always hang up on them, basically. All right. Incentive to, So yeah, the incentive to improve yourself is gone for so many people because in the West, everyone is so comfortable. Why improve, man? I've got my Obama phone. I got my big screen TV. Why improve? I'm comfortable. So this is what I'm trying to tell all you people who are comfortable. Even if you are comfortable, think of it this way: you can attain greatness easier because of the lack of competition from the 80%ers who are comfortable, who aren't trying to improve themselves. So they're doing you a favor here. Be in motion when so many other people are not in motion. Think of it that way. Think of it that way. Look, so 33% of Americans are they're getting fast food every day. They're dying a slow death from that. They're probably, a lot of them aren't in motion. And they're, why improve themselves? They're happy with their status in life. They're not trying to improve. So what an opportunity we have in this day and age when so many people are lazy and comfortable and fat in the Western world and they don't want to improve. That there's no competition. There's no competition. Think of it that way. So be in motion. You'll beat them easily. So here's a story from the land of deferral of gratification. Academic research study. This is good. Hedge fund managers who own sports cars make riskier investments, while minivan owners are more cautious investors. They underperform. Okay, so the sports car owner hedge fund managers underperform managers without sports cars by 2.92% a year. So this is about, again, even in the upper echelon of financial management, the guys who didn't blow their wad on sports cars right away, that were able to defer their gratification and just get a family car for now. They're better managers. They're better managers of other people's money. Now, I'm not saying that, again, control your own private key, buy Bitcoin, of course. But this is an interesting example of deferral of gratification, even at the upper levels of probably the higher levels of intelligence there. So there's different gradations of deferral of gratification. I mean, because in some way, if you're already a hedge fund manager, you have deferred gratification for some things. I mean, you didn't get some, you were wearing your Jimmy hat. You didn't have a lot of illegitimate kids or anything like that. Because you wouldn't be a hedge fund manager at this point. You'd be, dealing with so many issues. You would never been able to make it this far. But again, so the lesson is defer gratification as much as possible, and you will have wealth. Well, here's something. Cameron Kasky was on the Ben Shapiro show. Now, this guy, Cameron Kasky, was outside Miami. They had that school shooting, and he was one of the survivors, and he organized that March to Life or whatever it was in D.C. And now he's going on some of these shows and saying, I'm liberal, but I may have been a little bit too harsh on all the gun rights people, and I want to have a discussion. And he comes out, he's like an 18-year-old kid and everything, and he, compared to some of these 18-year-old kids that are like, yeah, F the government, bring down, let's take away everyone's guns. No one needs a gun. No one needs, he's not a radical at all. He comes away, he presents himself in a very acceptable manner where no one's going to be like, well, this guy's a little too harsh. So, I mean, and I do give him credit for being on the Ben Shapiro show, but it seems like, probably his agent or somebody is getting, but he was just on the Dave Rubin show too. I didn't watch that. So, I mean, this kid probably is pretty clear he wants to get into politics one day, and that's his business. And again, he's young still. Maybe he'll change, but he's definitely in the status system right now. So one of the reasons I'm bringing this up is because Ben Shapiro asked him, like, well, who's a good because the kid said something like, not all politicians are good. There are a few good ones. And Ben Shapiro said, well, who's your favorite politician today? And he just straight up said, that Beto O'Rourke. Oh, he's so great. And this kid starts singing the praises of Beto O'Rourke, who I brought up on this very show like 4 weeks ago. How I said that this Beto O'Rourke dude, this is who they're going to be, the liberal side of things are going to be pushing this guy, okay? And the kid even said it. The kid said, I am an admirer of RFK, of Bobby Kennedy, and this guy reminds me a lot of Bobby Kennedy. And this is what they're going to go with. A guy with a fake Mexican name, because he's Irish. Beto is Irish. He's 100% Irish, or white or whatever. He's not Mexican. He's not Hispanic at all, but he's got a Hispanic nickname. So he's just this marketing bonanza for the statist left, okay? Because this dude, Now, again, don't worry about politics too much, but I'm just trying to show you the direction the culture is going in right now. And this guy is like the white Obama, or I mean, they got a position, and you hear all this stuff about what's the woman from Massachusetts and all these others. They're old, and this guy's young, and he's got all the marketing behind him and stuff. But it just shows the youth of America. This Cameron guy fall for it just so easily. They just show. I mean, the default is collectivism, and this Beto O'Rourke is all about the collectivism. Trust me, he's not about the individual. I mean, he's about himself as an individual, moving up through the ranks and everything. So again, I brought this up 4 weeks ago, or maybe more now, that this guy Beto is going to be something. All you guys who value your wealth in politics and waste hours upon it are going to be hearing about for a long time. Because he's young, and Again, if he were to beat Ted Cruz, and I don't think he is, I don't know, he would become the next president of the United States. There's no doubt he would beat Donald Trump. To win Texas. Anyway, let's not talk politics. You don't have to worry about politics when you got the Bitcoin. But again, it's a commentary on the youth of America too, that they fall for this. This smart kid, Cameron Kasky, falls for it. and is marketing, is a mouthpiece for the guy already. So anyway, what else do we get? So that's linked to below. I watched what's his face? Dave Rubin show, and he had the woman who founded Quillette on. Now I've never even read Quillette actually, but I've heard about it. And the thing I got out of it, you know, Dave Rubin, he keeps asking this question. He's like, should have we spoken up more when Alex Jones was being, you know, silenced by the major corporations? He's like, you know, it's like he sounds so naive when he says that, or he sounds kind of fake when he says that, actually. Because yes, they should, and there were people who spoke up. Yeah, Alex Jones is offensive, but he should be able to speak his mind. Yes. He shouldn't be. He should be able to say all that nonsense so people can point out, you know, that's complete nonsense what Alex Jones is saying. But then, you know, Alex Jones does say things, Second Amendment things that are very true too. So you know, there's some good and there's a lot of bad. But you know, Dave Rubin, I don't like when he because it doesn't seem very intellectual when he says something like that. It's like, well, should we stood up for Alex Jones? And now I'm thinking we should have stood up. But the point of me, you know, that's a little add-on there. The point of me bringing this woman, he asked the woman that, and she wasn't so sure herself. But what she said that was a little shocking and just shows us how early we are in people understanding Bitcoin. And she's a smart woman. She's got a successful, this Quillette thing is, I linked to it below if you want to read it. She's from Australia, and I guess things are a little bit different down there. She doesn't see things the same way. She's shocked. She's surprised that payment processors are just cutting off people. How could PayPal just do that to Alex Jones suddenly? And to others, that woke her up. She's like, wow, I mean, I guess she realized she could be the next person. I mean, this threat has been out there for so long, since before Alex Jones got cut off by PayPal and other payment processors. And people, smart people like this one, and Dave Rubin actually is seeing this a little bit, that you get into Bitcoin, you crypto yourself, you can't be shut off. You get your business model around that, you get your donation model totally based on crypto. You list an address, people send you the crypto instead of relying on PayPal and being one of the people, the shoulda, woulda crypto people that I was talking about. And it seems like this woman from Quillette hasn't learned yet. Probably they're going to get bounced from some payment processor event. You got to have your Bitcoin backup plan, your Bitcoin insurance ready to go. You got to have that method ready to go. You should already have it rolled out if you're a controversial figure, to build the way you fund yourself around cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. So that was an interesting interview. That's linked to below. That's it. I'm Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, Disrupt Meister. Remember to subscribe to this channel, like this video, share this video. Check out the notes section below. Pound that like button. I'll see you guys in the chat right now. Remember, every Saturday, Beyond Bitcoin show. We'll be back to the one Bitcoin show tomorrow, Sunday. See you later.